Welcome to Life Burst Summer Series. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Matt. We love telling stories of everyday people just like you, and we've had a wonderful season in season 1 doing just that. But today we go back and take you to life before newspapers were made on computer. It is fantastic to be sharing another story with you today. In the studio today, we have Marge. Welcome, Marge.
Thank you. Yes, and welcome.
Great to have you. Tell us, where did life start out for you? Take us back to the beginning.
Well, I know when you do TV and podcasts and things, you need a script. So I've got a script here.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
So this is what I've got all to talk about. But on the other side here, I've just got, hello, everybody.
Okay. Good script. Good.
Yeah.
Yep, so
Got some yellow and blue paper that's been
That's
stuck
right.
in. Look at that. Have a look.
you want
It
me
was
to
a
have
good.
a look?
It was a good visual gag.
Okay.
It's disappeared now.
All right.
Yeah,
good.
so no, I was born at the Mountbarga Hospital, and the nurse or the doctor said to Mum, she'll be coming along in the morning, no worries. Well, that night, I didn't want to hang around, and I was born at night with a midwife, and that the doctor didn't get around to delivering me. So from there, I grew up on the family farm. Our farm was I grew up on a farm with dairy cows and
So
enjoyed.
Marge has brought in a cow.
Yes.
Not a real cow. Just thought we'd point that out. This is going to be a really good episode that if you are listening to us via podcast or on radio, to jump over to our Facebook or YouTube
Later on.
channels later
Yep.
on to actually
see the
watch it
cow.
in person. You can see the cow with a little bell on there too.
Okay. So you had a few of these around your farm growing up. Dairy
Yes,
cows.
yeah, we had about 100, and we milked them. My ancestors milked them by hand, of course, back then. And then I used to go up to another farm, which they had about 300 acres, and I used to help up there with the calves, feeding them and collecting the milk and rounding them up. And so I spent a lot of time with the neighbours, actually. Mum hardly ever saw me. Even after school, I would go straight up there and help at 4 o'clock. And I didn't do the morning shift. The morning shift was looking after my cows, actually feeding them before I went to school, and feeding the ducks and the guinea pigs and the rabbits and everything like that. So, yeah.
So it sounds like an introduction to an outdoor life and a life of hard work.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Thoroughly enjoyed it with the, playing in tree houses and climbing trees and things that kids can't do these days. But it was a glorious time. Yeah. So, I grew up with my teddy bear. Now, a lot of people would have these sort around in the baby booming years.
Okay, we've got him in the studio here with us.
Yes.
He does.
Wave, everybody.
He looks like he's been around a bit.
Yeah, his name's Ted.
Ted.
Yes.
Ted.
Yep. And the jacket that he's wearing actually came from a friend from Loxton. We went up there to have a holiday one time with Mum, and for about, I don't know, a fortnight, I think it was. And while we were up there, she said, I need to do Ted a outfit. So she did up a little outfit for him, and I was happy as Larry.
So it's a yellow teddy bear with a blue jumpsuit
That's
on.
right.
And there's
Yes.
something
So that's
on.
pretty special. Ted's been around many years. You've managed to preserve him.
Well, yes, I
and,
mean, I haven't mentioned, what year I was
no,
born.
you haven't. Yeah.
But for those out there, they know what era I was from. Yeah.
Because of the teddy bear.
Yeah.
Yes. Matt, do you want to pass the cow over this side? We could put it at the front today. I feel like we're going to have so many.
Bits and
Our
pieces.
table will be growing as the story grows.
Yes.
Okay, so growing up with around family, but also some
Yes.
neighbours as well.
That's right. Yeah.
Siblings.
Yeah, 2 brothers. One, Philip, he's older than I am, and then there's Timothy, and then there's myself. And we got on really, really well, and we still get on very well together. We're always helping. We're a very helping family, and look out for each other.
So what was the age difference between all of you?
My eldest brother is 12 years older than I am, and then Timothy's 5 years older than I am.
So what was it like with Philip being so much older than you?
Well, I didn't really know that much. I mean, I found out when he left work, he'd been working for 42 years, and I went, now this is going to let people know roughly how old I am. I worked out that I was 6 when you started work, and yeah, so he was always working and everything else, but Timothy and myself, we used to hang around playing dams and do fun things.
What type of things did you used to get up to in the dams and swimming pools and tree houses that you talked about before?
Oh, right. Well, I made a boat. I always wanted a boat, so I made up a wooden crate with put plastic in it as a lining, and went out in the dam and that. We went yabbying. Mainly yabbying and just playing around and swimming in the dam, yeah. And then my brother made up a swimming pool. We dug out a great big area and he covered that in plastic, and we used that as a swimming pool. And that was about 2 feet deep, but it was good.
Yeah, nice.
Yes, it's nice to cool off on a hot summer's day.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. And what about on the weekends? What did you get up to?
The weekends, just, kid stuff.
It's just anything different. That's cool.
Tomboy stuff.
Right.
I used to ride my bike everywhere and make out that I had an imaginary friend, and and we did a lot of bike riding.
So
Always wanted to be a policewoman
okay.
and that. So
So
I
no
always
time for dolls and for you?
no.
Tomboy stuff.
Yes. I had a friend, an Aboriginal friend. She was very close, and she wanted to come to my place after Sunday school, after church, a few times, but all she wanted to do was play dolls. I didn't like that idea. I was into the Lego and the fun stuff outside.
Right, yes.
But yeah, I still had dolls. I've still got them today, and that. But
What about school? Where did you go to school and how was that for you?
Yeah, I went to school at Echunga Primary and did 7 years there. My 2 brothers before me went to Echunga Primary. I found out that my mother used to push a pram with Philip in it as a baby to school, which was 2 kilometres away.
Right, okay.
One of those great big 4-wheel prams, cane,
Okay.
and that, And I thought, oh, wow. And then she did the same for Timothy.
Right.
But as for me, well, we just walked to school, or I rode my bike. And Mum used to always ride a bike in with me.
Yeah.
So, or I'd walk home with friends at night time. But I wouldn't walk home. I'd walk straight up the hill to the farm.
Right.
You've talked a lot about your mum. Where was your dad during all of this?
Dad was, he was a woodcarter, and he cut a lot of wattle and that in the area through Harndorf and Paketown, that area, and used to then sell it to Patterson Brothers, which was at Mountbarga, and they're not there anymore. But he then became a mechanic, and I used to, that's where I spent a lot of time too, down in the shed, sitting on the fender, looking into the engine and watching him, lift out engines and tinker around and that. We're into tinkering and that, which is really great fun.
Yeah. We will be back with more Life Bursts with Matt and Sarah. We're chatting with Marjorie straight after this. This is Life Bursts with Matt and Sarah, and we are chatting with Marjorie. Now we're up to the part, Marjorie, where you are tinkering in your dad's shed, engines and everything. Take us on the journey from there.
From there, he used to work on semi-trailers and for Gilbert's Transports, and we used to go, sometimes he'd ring up and go, quick, pack up the kids, we're all going to Victoria to fix up one of the trucks because they'd broken down. And so off we'd go. We'd
whole
pack
family?
up the whole family.
Wow.
Oh, except for Philip. I don't think Philip was involved. Maybe earlier. But anyway, he... we'd all off to Victoria, at Horsham, mainly, and and we'd sit there during the night while he was fixing up these semi-trailers, just Mum and myself. Mum would go along, and Timothy, we'd go along to keep him company and that. So we enjoyed it because that meant we didn't have school the next day. So that was a good bonus in it. Or we'd get back to school late, but mainly we'd have the day off because it was a matter of going over there, working in the dark, and he'd drive home in the dark, and so from there he used to take me to school, and when I started in grade 5 he would go to drop me off, and I'd be bawling my eyes out because I didn't want to go to school. They are parents, even I did that. Your children, most probably do that, and so did my children. Yeah. But Dad would just go and tell the teacher, and he'd take me off to work for half the morning, and then I'd go back to school. And that was in grade 1. Yeah.
All part of a well-rounded education?
Absolutely. Yeah. So, no, it was... he was really good. And then in, 1970, he passed away.
Right.
So I've been without a father for 50 years.
Right. Okay.
But he's still there.
Yeah.
Everything I do, I remember him, and yeah.
So you were still in your childhood?
I was 10.
Yeah.
There you go.
Now we know how old you are.
Yeah.
I'm 60.
So how did it affect you with your father passing?
As a 10-year-old?
Yes.
It really... I think, I was too young to sort of really for it to sink in, and that, I was sad and upset and everything, but it mainly affected my brothers more. I can remember sitting in the lounge room, and Mum had this phone call, and all of a sudden I just thought, oh, something's wrong, and then, that was not a good day. My brother, Timothy, he had just made a sack truck at metalwork at high school for Dad, and he brought that home that night, and that was not good. And Philip was going on a holiday, and he had to cancel that. So from there, Philip actually started to become a father figure, and he was looking after us, and he still is a father figure. He's really there to support us and help us. Yeah.
Wow.
That's a huge experience to go through at 10.
Yeah.
To have your father there for you all the time.
Yes.
And then suddenly now he's not there. How did your mother cope through that time?
Bewildered, upset. I guess she managed. I'm not too sure. I mean, as you get older, I realise what she went through and everything like that. But she just got on with life. And
what do you think helped her get through that time?
Have us children, friends, support, the church community, and she was always a outgoing sort of a person, always going out to places. Never drove or anything like that, but she always found someone to pick her up and take her and that. So no, mainly family and support and love through that. But, I can find out, sort of realise now, with what she would have had to cope with on her own with us 3 children. And even though we were good kids,
Of course.
Sure, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So as you moved then through that with a new family setting and into your later years of schooling, what did the future look like? What were your hopes as a child looking to where you might go next?
She wanted to be a policewoman.
Yes, I wanted to be a policewoman.
How long did that hope, sister, that was something you continued to want to do?
For quite a while. I still like doing detective work.
Okay.
You know, I always suss out what my kids are doing because they leave something laying around and
Yeah.
I go, okay, yes, I know what you've been doing today, and things like that. So, yeah, I do enjoy it.
Right.
But then I wanted to be a veterinarian. And, yeah, I used to, pull frogs apart and all those fun things and mice and things like that.
So you were surrounded by nature and animals on the farm, so
Yeah.
it just was
Yeah.
natural that animals were.
And I
something-
used to collect frogs and as pets.
Okay.
And I found a 3-legged frog one time. And I think we let Colin Teeling know, who was a big book author, and he's done a book on frogs. And, he wanted to know more about it. And I think it's in his book.
Okay.
Yeah.
You discovered a
Yeah.
rare species.
Yeah.
Three-legged frog.
There.
Three-legged
Did they
frog.
name it after you?
What, 3-legged?
We'll have to find the book, won't we? Yeah.
yes. It's in the cupboard somewhere.
Right. So, did you move on after Yachunga Primary School to another school? Or?
Yes, I went on to, it was Adelaide Tech down at Cunningham Street. And the reason for that was my brother, Philip, used to work in Cunningham Street. So that was down one end and the high school was up the other end of the street. So he would drop me off and then I would, after school, I'd then go down and wait for him to knock off work, and I might get home at 9 o'clock, but I'd do my homework. It was one way of getting my homework done.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But again, he used to, he was a salesperson at Poly Products, and he would go off to Murray Bridge selling plastic bags in the morning. So we'd go into Murray Bridge, he'd do his bit, I'd get to work school late.
Right.
Again, I wasn't a bludger, sorry, but no.
Seeing this pattern emerging right now. It's a constant pattern.
Yeah, so quite often he had to do work stuff on the way home or before school, and I just went with the flow.
Because being in Yachunga, there obviously wasn't any buses to get you down into the city.
No
Yeah.
buses or anything. I mean, unless you wanted to catch the 7 o'clock one and get back by 6 o'clock and things like that. But it was just more convenient. And the reason I went there was otherwise I would have had to be riding my bike in the rain. And yeah, it was just Timothy my other brother went to Glungunga High too. They changed to Glungunga High. And now they're Glungunga International, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a bit of history there.
Yeah. So, yeah, I did a lot of sport there and things like that. So, yeah.
So when you finished school, what happened next?
What happened next? Oh, well, I got myself a car.
Okay, here comes another prop.
My nice green Morris 1100.
Okay, so
And it almost looks like that too, doesn't it?
We've got, for those who
Yeah.
are listening,
Yes.
we've got a hand-drawn, beautifully hand-drawn.
show it to your own camera there. Yep, Reese will put the camera on. There we go. You can see what you're
Well,
doing.
yeah, all right.
Yes. So, my first car was a Morris 1100. And that was fantastic.
You
and
could
I used
finally not
to-
have to be driven everywhere.
That's right. Yes. And I went to went on holidays in it and everything else. Yeah. So at the age of 16, because I'd already ridden on the family property and everything else, it didn't take long for me to get my my L's, and so I started the Mountbarga Courier.
Okay.
Well, no, actually, my first job was at Poly Products.
Okay.
Yeah, which was down at Regency Park at that stage. And the manager at Poly Products, where Philip works, said, well, until Marjorie can find a job, she can work here. And that was counting plastic bags and dealing with slippery plastic on a hot 36-degree day. Luckily, I had that job for 3 days, and I went on to work at the Mountbarga Courier.
Now, what is the Mountbarga Courier for people who aren't aware of what that is?
The Mountbarga Courier is a newspaper. I should have brought one in. Sorry.
Okay, you brought so many props. It's okay. There's still so many more to come, everybody.
It's a newspaper. It's the Adelaide Hills newspaper here, which runs from Mountbarga. And yeah, I did a lot of cut and paste there.
Excellent. When we come back after the next break, you're going to tell us a little bit more about that and what cut and paste actually is, because many people won't actually know what that is. So this is Life Buzz with Matt and Sarah. We're chatting with Marjorie. We'll be back straight after this.
You're joining us on Life Burst with Sarah and Matt, and we are chatting to Marge. You've talked about getting work with a newspaper.
That's correct.
Cut and pasting. So have you brought in some scissors and some clag glue to show us what you used to do? What is cutting and pasting in a newspaper setting?
Cutting and pasting as a newspaper is you...
Here we go.
Yep.
Here it comes.
You may be able to see this. I'm not sure.
So you got a piece of paper.
I've got a piece of paper with lines in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, the page, and it still is, made up of 41 centimetres deep
Yeah.
by 7 columns across. So when you get the Courier or a newspaper, you can see it goes in columns. So when we get, it's very hard to explain.
That's okay.
That's all right. So when we get photos and that, it will come through and it's made into a bromide. From a bromide, we then cut them.
What's
and
a bromide?
A bromide is a...
Take us back.
27. I have no
can't
idea
read
what's
it.
a bromide. What is this? Okay.
A bromide is made up of pixels of greys and whites and, you know, your different tones.
Okay.
But it only comes out in grey and white because that's what the newspaper is. Until further down the track, we got to doing colour. So for quite a few years, we just did black and white.
Okay. Now you can go, and she's
brought
brought
in
more.
I brought more. So
Okay. What have you got?
this is a book I did on the Mountbarga Courier,
Yeah.
and I'll explain more about
It's a blue book.
why I did this book.
Okay, so this is your handmade.
Handmade book.
Okay. History of the Courier.
So we have what's called a linotype. I haven't got a picture of the linotype, but here is a gentleman that is holding a tray, a wooden tray that is in columns. Again, your 7 columns by 41 centimetres deep. And with the linotype, it would print out your a metal sort of a block with lettering on it, which was raised. Yeah, which was raised. So you can just sort of see it was made out of board, and they had to then put it together to do your writing. From there, they would actually roll through ink over the top of it with put paper onto the metal lettering, and then put a roller through it that would print the lettering on.
So you squish it together.
You squish it together, and then that made that. So then when we get it as a paste up person, we would then have to cut it out and put it into different segments. So we used to have miscellaneous, used cars, real estate and everything like that. And we'd cut it out. I should have brought some things.
You've brought lots of things today. Back to our piece of paper, everybody. The big one that was
But if I
before.
could say, this has got printing on it and everything else.
Smaller piece of
Right?
paper.
Yep, small piece of paper. We cut it out, so it's been cut out. Now your cutting out is done by your normal dinky die knife.
Yep, Stanley knife.
Yep.
stuff.
Stanley
Got a
knife.
Stanley knife,
and that.
holding it up.
Always use the Stanley knife. And we'd have a rular.
And a ruler. She's
And
got
a
a ruler
ruler.
too.
Okay.
Right.
Perfect. Okay.
Yes.
So what happens
I've
then?
tried to cut things without a ruler before.
Yeah.
You see the wisdom.
I have a box full of things here.
Very big box.
Yes. So we would have an advert. People would, ring in and want to advertise
Sale.
a sale, right? A garage sale.
Yep.
Okay. Matt's going to have a garage sale. And
Yep, you're going to have a garage sale, and
you.
you've sent him what you want written in the garage sale. So the linotype people would then type that all up. We'll actually put all the lettering singly, GAR, all single, into these little boxes tray and print it out. Then it would come to us, and it would come in a big piece of paper, but then we would have to cut it out. And imagine it's got garage sale written on this piece of paper.
It's a smaller piece of paper. Yeah.
You wanted a border around it. So we would have to get our ruler,
He's so fussy, isn't he?
our texter,
The border too.
and we would draw up. You wanted a, what size was it? 7x2.
Yeah, look, that sounds
We
great.
called 7x2. So
Whatever-
7
Whatever your
centimetres
special
down
is at the time.
by 2 columns across.
Oh, yeah, big one. Yeah.
Yep, you're going to get a big one. That'll cost you millions of dollars, as my manager used to say.
Yeah.
Cost you thousands.
It's a good garage sale.
With our advert, we would then put it through what's called a wax machine. Everything was done with a wax machine. That would go through and it would wax the back of the advert. Then we would then paste it into our area. It's a little bit bigger than normal.
That's okay.
So there you actually have your, I could draw up a, quickly, we're going to do some drawing here,
She's drawing a square.
Carousel.
Yeah.
sort of. The ruler is a little bit wonky, but it would then go onto the page like that.
Yeah, right. And that have to be done for segment by segment to fill that page until
It
the
would.
page is ready ready for print.
And it wasn't a matter of just working out, okay, we can just put real estate down. We can just put it. We actually had to have metal trays, which is used for when we do the actual printing onto the newspaper. We'd use metal trays. We'd have to stick it all onto the metal trays, and then from there have to then work out and do the layout of the page.
So that is a huge process just
It
for a printing a paper that people pick up for a few cents. Really,
Yep. Yep.
You can see why the ads cost you an arm and a leg.
That's right. Also, so making up an actual page, you know, we got picture and write up football, say. We would have our heading, which was done on a different machine, which is a bromo type machine, which would then come out in strips, great big long strips, and we'd actually have to cut that strip and put it through the wax machine, put our heading on. Then they want a photo, a bromide. So we would then organise the photo, cut that out, put it through the wax machine, stick that on there. Then with our, this is all done by cut and paste.
Yeah. By
And that's
hand.
why it was called cut and paste.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice and wax paste.
Yeah.
These days, it's all computerised.
Yeah.
And yeah, but the process is still roughly the same. You know, they still got to work out on their page how to do tabs. And
No wax.
No wax.
No wax.
No wax, yeah.
So this is a work, and how often did the paper come out? How many
Once a
days?
week.
Yeah, and you'd have to. It would be more.
We'd
than,
have a deadline. We'd have a deadline
Yeah.
on Tuesday, and we would work until we got that newspaper out. And yeah, it would go to press, and then we'd then have to collate it together. So newspaper is made up of different sections, and it's not a matter of it just all coming out in one big lot. It actually has a few pages. So you'd have one sheet, you'd have a multiple of pages, and then you'd collate that into
Right.
it. So it was a matter of this sort of figuration
Yeah.
and that. So there would be about 20 people afterwards then collating it all in, and they still do that today
Yeah.
because the machine can't cope with 72 pages. So yeah, they do 36 and then another 36.
Well, that's fascinating. The
I
life of a cut and paster in back in
Yeah.
a bygone era, but an insight into it today.
This is one of the computers. I don't know whether you can actually see it.
So before we go to a break, that's one of the computers there.
Yeah,
So there were
Very big.
computers.
there were
They're just,
computers. They were very
a little
big
different for
computers.
today.
Very big.
Absolutely.
Very
You've got
Yeah.
computer output machine and headliner there. So
That's
some
right.
pieces of equipment.
Yeah.
Well, Marge, thank you for that little insight.
All right.
And
Very
we'll
good.
continue your story, which may continue some of that story as well right after this break. This is Life Burst with Sarah and Matt.
This is Life Burst with Matt and Sarah. We're chatting with Marjorie. Now, you have taught us a lot so far, which has been awesome. And we really, really encourage people that once you finish listening to the episode to go back and watch it on YouTube and Facebook, because there are lots of props and lots of things that she's brought in to share with all of us, which is really, really exciting. One thing that you haven't touched on yet, however, was something really big and significant that you did during your life. Share with us about this. It's very exciting.
My
Just one thing.
one thing.
Yeah.
Does it involve what's behind us here?
No, it doesn't involve what's behind us yet. Not there
We'll get to that.
yet.
No, it involves what I'm wearing here. It's the Queen's Award, which
Okay.
is an international award you can earn through Girls Brigade. I started Girls Brigade at the age of 14 as a pioneer, which is the oldest section that you can be in. You have cadets, juniors, seniors, and then pioneers.
We just had a picture up on the screen of the award that you're wearing.
Yeah, the badge.
Okay.
Badge. Yeah.
Yeah, close-up's better than the one.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. And yeah, during that time I helped out with Girls Brigade means to encourage girls to become followers of the Lord Jesus Christ, and through self-control, reverence, and a sense of responsibility to find true enrichment in life. And so that's what we were doing. We mainly did. We did crafts and stories and devotions, cooking, things that the Scouts do, but on a Christian basis. During that time, I then became... Oh, that's right. While I was a pioneer, I earned the Pioneer Pin, which was the highest award that a pioneer can receive. It was a matter of going through leading crafts, leading what we call fall in. That was the start, and fall out, which is the start where all the girls come together. You talk to them, announcements and everything. And it wasn't just a matter of them all coming together. You actually had to command, you had to do a fall-in segment with them, like company attention, company at ease, these are the rules, these are this, and everything else.
So it involved quite a lot then.
Absolutely. Yeah. What was one of the other things I did for Pioneer Pin? Leading devotions and being in control of a group. So you had to show responsibility, care, and respect for the company.
What I'm curious to know about, with what you've just said to do with the Girls Brigade and everything, did it actually grow you closer to Christ?
It did, yes. Yeah. It's just a real, I don't we call it a bonus, or a real feeling of sense of being of belonging, and knowing that there is a God out there. And and through our devotions and everything, kids used to come to know Jesus, and that I'll tell you one of the segments that we did for devotions. Can you remember old film strips?
Yeah.
Right.
Sarah, you wouldn't remember old film strips.
Yeah, but I know what they are.
Okay. But this was a matter of, I had to organise putting a big screen up,
Yeah.
having a special projector, which then you would put the film in the projector, the reel.
Yeah.
You'd have to have a separate tape recorder. So you'd have to press tape recorder. You'd also have to press the camera, the projector, at the same time.
Right.
But when it came to changing the slide, it would go ding, ding, and you'd change the slide. And then it would tell you another bit of the story. Then it'd go ding, ding, which would then tell you to then change the slide again. They were marvellous. It was a marvellous,
Yeah. Sounds really
fantastic
exciting.
ready to bring them back.
Yes,
Way
right.
to
Why
go.
don't we do that
But
again?
now it's so easy.
Yeah, push
you
a
know.
button.
Yes,
Yeah. I mean, I still have that.
So
I have
how did you
everything.
feel when you completed your award?
Pioneer Ping.
Yes.
Oh, amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, got up there with the commissioner and the state commissioners and was presented at a church service along with another person that was doing their pioneer at the same time.
Well done.
So it was good, yes.
Well done.
So then I went on to becoming a leader, and as a pioneer I had to start what was called the Queen's Award, which is an international award, originated from Scotland, and every girl and boy in Boys and Girls Brigade can go for this award. We had 2 years to complete it in. With that 2 years, I had to do 6 months community service, which I did at the Mountbarga Hospital, where the nurses used to tease me. But then we also had to do a morning, lunch and afternoon tea for 50 officers for Girls Brigade at a conference. I had to organise everything. Meals, menu, helpers, organise the kitchen and how it all went together. And that was great, it was really a good buzz.
Yeah.
Another one that I did was a trading table, and my trading table I did down at not every girl has to do trading tables. There's different things you can do, but I chose trading table. That was down at Unley, and I had to collect everything from people, and had to take it all down in the car and trailer down to Unley and set up all these trestles and that. So that was another huge. The Queen's Award's not just you get it. There was a lot involved. The other one that I had to do
Another prop.
Yep,
There we go.
was my book on the Courier.
Yeah.
I had to do the actual history, the biography, about everything about the Courier.
Right.
And that was really interesting because I had a lot of help from people at the Courier. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant.
Excellent.
One of the other things that might have been all actually. Yeah, but it was just really great. Oh, that's right. No, I also had to have dinner with the state commissioner, the national commissioner, and some of the delegates. And there was 2 other girls and myself doing it, and that was a matter of learning how to hold your cup, and
Just
your
holding
finger
a cup of
up,
tea.
Yes. Well, it is the Queen's Award, is it?
It is, yeah.
The proper
That's
way of
right,
holding
yeah.
the tea.
Yes, no, it was all etiquette, and you had to be, yeah.
Okay. Wow. Well, so it sounds
So
like
that was
it was.
a bit nerve-wracking.
Yeah, but you got through, and so you not only got the award, but the experience of doing it and the opportunity to help others along the way. So,
Yeah. And I was presented at Morn Church, a Uniting Church, well, it was Methodist back then, in Franklin Street, with a state parade.
And how old were you when you completed this?
I was 22.
There
Right.
we go.
Yeah. So I managed. It was 24 back then, but I think they've now made it 25. You can go to.
Yeah.
So yes.
Well done.
Yeah,
Another
thank you,
really
thank you.
insightful 10 minutes of the program.
Yes.
Learning so much today. This is Life Burst with Matt and Sarah, chatting with Marjorie. We'll be back straight after this. This is Life Burst with Matt and Sarah. We're chatting with Marjorie today, and we've got to the final segment of the show and realize that there is so much more of her story, as there often is with our guests. So there's going to be some things that you can see in the background that we're going to talk about next time when we have Marjorie come back again. Now we are going to focus on your mother and the type of mischief that you two used to get up to together, because I think this is worth sharing.
Well, I don't know where to start.
Too much to tell.
Oh, dear. Yeah. My mum was a very outgoing, funny person.
Yeah.
And, well, just to start off with, I think I mentioned how she used to not be able to drive.
Yeah.
So she'd have lots and lots of people, turn up and pick her up and take her shopping or take her to guild. She was involved with so many things. I found all of her diaries not that long ago, and going through it, I'm thinking, how did she do it all? It was like she'd be here, there and everywhere else. She was very caring. She used to childmind the neighbours' children, and she had 5 of them that she'd looked after and that, and used to spend, she did lots of babysitting for people in the community in Ichunga. She was involved with so many church organisations, very interdenominational, my mother was.
Interdenominational, right?
Yeah.
Across the different...
Yeah, just to give you an insight of Mum. She lived in Adelaide, and Dad lived up here at Longwood. And Dad met Mum at a supermarket, CPS stores down in, I think it was Grote Street. Not sure, but anyway. Anyway, they got to know each other, and Mum would catch the train up to Belair, and then on to Stirling, the old Stirling railway station there. But she wouldn't just catch the train. She'd ride a bike from Glandore to Goodwood, catch the train, and then get off at Stirling and ride her bike. If Dad wasn't there, if her boyfriend wasn't there to pick her up, she would then ride her bike to Longwood.
Wow.
So that's quite a fair distance.
That's impressive.
Yeah. Just look on Google Maps and work out.
Really hilly too.
Yeah. How far it was.
So he was pretty fit.
Yeah. She must have been.
She was pretty fit.
Yeah. Some of the things that she used to get up to, we went on lots of holidays together, and we'd be on the bus, and she would, while people were asleep and that, she would tie their shoelaces together.
Watch out, Matt. Don't fall asleep.
I'll tie your shoelaces together.
See, I didn't wear shoelaces today, knowing this.
Yes, and don't do this at home,
Or on the bus.
On the bus.
Or on the school bus.
So when people woke up and that and went to walk, hence their shoelaces were tied up. She did other things like... I don't know. She did so many different things.
It's thinking what's appropriate and what's not appropriate to share.
So did you inherit some of this
oh, absolutely.
mischief from your mum?
So did my daughter.
Okay.
I see you've hidden your shoes there, Matt. You kind of pushed them down under the chair.
You did. Yeah, but no, look, I can't remember all the antics she used to get up to, antics. We'd be on boat trips and that, and, you get people that are seasick, and they'd be leaning over, and she'd come up and go, up she rises. And I mean, she was okay. She wasn't, sick, but she would just come up and stir people up and that. And then she'd go on the boat and she'd be swaying like this, making people, and it was ridiculous. But I can, if my friends are listening, she would relate to this. I went away with one of my friends, and we went to Wilmington, and during, again, I did the tie up the shoelaces and other little bits and pieces. But during the night, the door squeaked. And so as you went out during the night, which you quite often do, I won't explain where or why.
Right,
yeah.
But the door would creak, and it really got annoying. So I said to Kate, I said, we've got any fly spray or anything. We found some margarine that we had, and those little sachet things.
Yeah.
And so I put my finger on that, and I did the door hinges like that. And she went, what are you doing? It's like that. And then during the night, we'd wake up, and I used to get hungry during the night. So I'd be fossicking, in my sultana packet, trying to find sultanas, and we used to have a ball together.
Right.
She says, "What are you doing?" It was like
That's fun.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
There is so much more to share of your life, and that's why we do Life Birth. But we are coming towards the end, and we have been pre-warned by you and the producers that you have some things that we have to get involved in. So we are allowing plenty of time. So, Matt,
right.
we'll let you ask the question.
Yeah, well, as we ask all our guests, Marge, if you had a piece of advice to give whoever's watching or listening today, what would that be?
My advice to you is you can do anything in life. Just all you need to is to believe in yourself, and you will be amazed at what you can achieve. And through that, I have a whole lot of
Oh, look at all
cutouts
this.
here.
All right.
Sorry if we hit the microphone. Sorry, everybody. There is a long paper chain of
Paper people.
paper people.
Paper people.
Whoa.
Okay.
And these
Okay.
are all the different things that you can do by putting your mind to it.
You can be a school teacher, a farmer.
So don't say that you can never do anything, because in life it's possible to do whatever. You just need to put your mind to it, and it will happen.
Fantastic.
What have you
Doctor.
got written there? Yeah.
Tell us a few.
Tell us what you've got done.
Doctor, nurse, carer, sports, you.
Yeah, be you.
Yeah,
good.
be you.
Very powerful.
Bus driver, gardener, plumber, handy person. And you've often many of these at once, aren't you?
I am.
Yeah, you are.
A lady tells me I'm a hat of many, not a hat of many colours, but
Well, that's probably a good description, actually.
wearing many hats.
Yeah, wearing many hats, many colours.
And my mother used to always say to me, never say can't,
Yeah,
because you can.
that's great advice.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you, Marge.
Thank you.
That's really
right.
encouraging. And you've shared with us. Well, we've got cows, we've had Teddy, we've had cars, and some insights into life in the printing world as well. So thank you for sharing that. And there's so
Thank
much
you.
more to share with us as well.
There is.
We've got a prop behind us here as well, which we'll share about next
I
time.
can hold.
We've got another
hold the
prop here.
people. Look, we're going to lift the people up. Try not to. And out to the front. Yeah, we didn't get a chance to share about the bear with the black shorts and the flower on the right paw.
So that'll be next time.
That'll be next time.
So well, thank you for joining us, and thank you, Marge, so much for sharing a little bit of your story
pleasure.
today. And we look forward to hearing more in our next upcoming episode as well, where we
then.
continue that. This has been Life Birth. I'm Matt.
And I'm Sarah. You can catch up with us wherever you get your podcasts from. You can watch us, particularly this interview, on Facebook or YouTube, and of course on Hills Radio and community television as well. We will see you next time.
Life Bursts is hosted by Matthew Karat and Sarah Freeman, with production by Reese Jarrett and Kay Hoshraw Ozadigan. For more episodes of Life Bursts, go to rawcut.com.au. This is a RawCut production.